Top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. It's official. The rumors, they were true. They checked out. Natasha Jonas is going to be unifying titles with IBF champion of Canada, Marie-Eve Caire.
The news broke yesterday afternoon. These are just my thoughts.
Marie-Eve Caire, a completely defensively minded fighter, a pure boxer, a fighter that's more likely to lay off than lay into her opponent.
A southpaw, the same way that Natasha Jonas is a southpaw.
Marie-Eve Caire, who's 36 years old, to Natasha Jonas, who's a very vibrant 38. Natasha, who sports a professional record of 12 wins, 2 losses with 1 draw, 8 knockouts, having only ever been stopped once.
Just once in 15 professional contests, 15 professional bouts several years ago at the hands of Brazil's own Vivian Obanov.
All those years ago after that shock upset loss, I was right to assume that Natasha Jonas had the minerals to not just rebound, but rebound in a big way. And she has.
Can't argue with results. You can't argue with success.
She's going to be taking on Marie-Eve Caire, who sports a professional record of 18 wins with 1 loss, no draws, sporting only 1 professional knockout, having never been knocked out herself. What do I imagine this fight is going to look like? Well, in all likelihood, it will be Natasha Jonas pressing the issue and forcing the action. In all likelihood, Natasha will be the aggressor and Marie-Eve Caire will be the defender, as defense is Marie-Eve Caire's calling card. Lateral movement, fighting off the back foot, counter-punching.
She's a pure boxer. That's a pure boxer's calling card. Defensively minded, economic, responsible.
Marie-Eve Caire boxed 2 times last year. This will be her first fight, her very first fight of this year, set to go down in November.
Approximately 11 months since Marie's last fight, the Cynthia Lozano fight.
Marie's fought 1 or 2 good fighters, very good fighters. Familiar faces like Yamila Avellaneda, Chris Namis, back when Chris was reigning IBF champion, former champion Michaela Lauren, Maria Lindbergh.
2 fighters that have been around for many, many years, very experienced themselves.
Look over at Natasha. We know that Natasha fought 2 times last year, 2 times this year. This will be her 3rd fight this year, her 3rd fight in the year of 2022. She took on Chris Namis in February, Patricia Bergoult this past September, and now she's going to take on Marie-Eve Caire in November.
She's been busy. Ben Shalom's been doing a great job keeping her active.
The relevance of the fighter's schedule and their activity level is their sharpness. Who will be the overall sharper fighter on the night? And based on the activity level of both these fighters, both these champions, you get the sense that Natasha will be sharper on the night.
Because she's been more active the last 2 years.
And more active this year. Overall, Natasha has been the more active fighter of the 2.
The trial for Natasha Jonas in this thing will be forcing Marie-Eve Caire to fight or forcing her to give up ground, forcing her to haul tail, haul ass.
Natasha Jonas isn't an according to Hoyle pressure fighter, but in this fight, she will have to apply pressure. Apply pressure on Marie-Eve Caire to land big punches, land clean shots, meaty punches, or
outwork Caire to win the rounds. Win the rounds on volume, on activity.
Because Marie-Eve Caire herself doesn't throw very much. She's an economic, defensively responsible, defensively minded, pure boxer. She's in and out, looking to land counter shots and jabs.
But she's not looking to hurt the other girl. She's not really looking to knock you out. That's just not who she is as a fighter.
She's the kind of fighter who wants to fight long distance while managing the distance, getting her shots off from the outside.
Safety first, staying on the move. So it's up to Natasha to close the gap, and I think she can.
Just so happens that Natasha Jonas's best punches are her straight punches and looping shots from the outside coming in. Them both being southpaws will create some very scrappy moments. I expect clinching. I expect wrestling. As Marie-Eve Caire, she ain't got no mid-range to inside game. She's more prone to trying to tie the other girl up once the other girl closes the gap.
Because she ain't got no inside game.
She's got a very pesky style, and it can be somewhat frustrating. I think the edge in power, strange as this might sound, will have to go to Natasha Jonas. Natasha might be the naturally smaller fighter, but overall, I think she's the harder puncher. The edge and speed, they might be about even in that department.
Oh, I think Tasha might be a little bit faster because I told you she's the naturally smaller fighter. She's got a speed advantage over most other junior middleweights.
Battle of the jabs. Natasha Jonas has a great textbook jab from the outside coming in, whereas Marie, she's a little bit more fidgety, a little bit more herky-jerky, whilst fighting on the fly.
Marie might prove hard to hurt, hard to knock out because she's always moving away from the action.
She's bouncy, she's in and out. She wants to get in, do the business, and quickly get out, safely get out, to keep managing the distance. That's a calling card. Natasha's gonna have to put the squeeze on her and apply pressure. But I think she can do it. I think she can. I think she can pull it off. I think she can add the IBF title to her collection before this year is out. And if she does, Natasha Jonas is a shoe-in to crack the Ring IQ pound-for-pound list.
Fight's set to go down in November on the 12th.
And we'll talk more about the fight as the fight date approaches.
Right, Anthony Joshua, where do we start? So, the deadline was Monday. Frank Warren asked me and convinced me to let it carry on for another couple of days.
I thought that he might. I thought that he might be under pressure from the people at BT Sport to deliver this fight because they know it's worth a lot of money.
Today's Thursday. And even though I knew you wouldn't sign this contract, I allowed Frank to continue doing meetings with your team and your broadcasters and all that. Now we have BT, DAZN, and ESPN all on the same page. They are happy with everything.
Well, if that's true, why the hell do you keep imposing these deadlines?
They're all happy, ready to rock and roll. You guys asked for a lot of stuff. You wanted to be co-promoters when you're a voluntary challenger. Guess what? I said, give it them. Let them be co-promoters. You wanted full transparency, even though you are not an equal shareholder in this party. Do you know what I said? Give them full transparency. I've got nothing to hide. I'm not trying to rob anybody. I've never robbed anybody of a penny in my life.
Look, maybe not. But the fact of the matter is, this isn't your run-of-the-mill voluntary title defense. This isn't your run-of-the-mill voluntary challenger. And you know that.
You can't negotiate a fight this size on the premise that this is a voluntary title defense, so they have to acquiesce to whatever you say.
So now you've got full transparency. Everything's clean and fair. Now, Joshua, the ball is really in your court, son. Everybody is done. If you're a man, and if you've got any sort of dignity and pride about you, you'll get this contract signed today.
This is where Tyson Fury is more or less showing his cards. Everybody in the United Kingdom knows that this is a big fight, a very big fight, perhaps one of the biggest fights you could hope to make in this entire weight class. So why would Tyson Fury want this to play out publicly?
Impose all these deadlines.
Why are you putting a time limit on this? You did this last Monday.
This is it. There is no more days, weeks, months. You've had the contract now for over 2 weeks. And you still haven't signed it.
Well, do you sign every piece of paper somebody sticks in front of you? Is that how you think this works? No, you know better. You know that's not how this works.
Show the public that you're really a big coward, that I know you are.
Once again, Tyson Fury's showing his cards. He wants all of this to play out publicly because he wants the public to be on his side.
But if the public's on his side and he ends up fighting Manuel Charr, that public will purchase his fight.
And don't sign it. I don't care either way. You sign it or you don't. It makes no difference to me at all. You're a beaten man.
Makes no difference to you at all, but you won't shut the fuck up about it. Won't stay off social media about it. Won't stop talking about it. It makes no difference to you at all, but you're the one who keeps taking it to the public.
Makes no difference to you at all, but you're the one who keeps harping about fighting a beaten man. So
whose opportunity is this really?
And I'm a world champion. I'm chucking you a massive bone.
Massive bone, massive bone. Let me tell you something. You fight Manuel Charr in December, we'll see which dog needs the bone.
But I know I can punch your face in, so I'm willing to give you an opportunity. There's nothing more to do. Everyone is happy. Get your team onto mine. They will be available all day, like they've been available for the last 2 weeks.
Wait a minute. You said it makes no difference to you if Anthony signs on or not, but you've been on about this for 2 weeks.
Get this contract signed today, you big pussy. And let the British fans have what they want. There's no more running. You have to fight me. You cannot escape. The Fury is coming.
You're trying really hard to get a beaten man in the ring, or at least you're trying to convince people that you're trying really hard, but it's a bit of a tough sell when you're the one imposing all these time constraints. You're the one imposing all these deadlines. You're the one making all these negotiations difficult.
He had a deadline on Monday, he's got another one today on Thursday.
And to that, Eddie Hearn responded by saying, I don't want to get involved with back and forths that are going to negatively impact this fight being made. But to be honest, we are quite bound baffled by the situation. Firstly, when we agreed to terms for the fight, it took us over a week to receive a draft contract. We have not had that contract for 14 days. Over the next week, we've worked tirelessly and had a number of meetings with Queensberry to get the contract in some kind of decent shape. Last Monday, we sent our final draft of the contract to Queensberry, only to see that Tyson Fury had publicly pulled out of the fight and it was no longer on the table.
We talked about that here on the channel.
Yesterday, we then received comments back from Queensberry on our final draft of the agreement, which is now being reviewed. I'm not sure why Tyson Fury keeps setting unrealistic deadlines whilst also offering the fight to a number of other heavyweights for the selected date. If he is serious about the fight being made, I suggest...
Wait a minute. He's offering other fighters the fight?
Apparently, I suggest he allow Matchroom and Queensberry to keep working hard to make the fight, of which everyone has been trying hard to do. You can't publicly keep pulling out of a fight and then restart negotiations when there has been so many positive conversations already had. We'll see what happens from here.
So who did he offer to fight?
Derek Chisora, apparently, the Tyson Fury people have been in contact with Derek Chisora to take him on that December date. And the logic behind that, it's relatively simple. Selling Derek Chisora to Brits is a bit easier than selling Manuel Charr to Brits.
Selling him at the box office. This goes back to what I told you guys yesterday.
Tyson Fury has been receiving a lot of heat and a lot of criticism over potentially facing Manuel Charr in December. Whatever happens with Anthony and whatever doesn't happen with Anthony, Manuel Charr as an opponent choice is still inexcusable. So it looks like Tyson Fury realized that and decided to get in contact with Derek
and revisit a potential fight with him. A potential trilogy. An unnecessary one.
Unnecessary because Tyson Fury won both of their fights, so it's pretty unnecessary to face him for a third time. But still, Derek Chisora at the box office is easier to sell than Manuel Charr at the box office.
Michelle Joy Phelps of Behind the Gloves Boxing got the scoop earlier today.
And that's where Eddie Hearn provided that intel, released information that the Fury people have gotten in contact with Derek Chisora and made him an offer, likely because they know you can't sell Manuel Charr.
You can't sell that as a box office fight. And if all of this has been a ruse, it didn't work.
None of this stuff made that fight more appealing, more attractive.
Fury, you are the same shit like Anthony Joshua. A man is a man. When you say Joshua is out, he is out. You told everyone you won't fight me. Now you are like a duck. Take the fight.
Manuel Charr. So it seems now that AJ's finally out. He's ducked his way out in a shitbag, coward, and you're the man who wants to fight. So I like that. I like the fact that you're very vocal and the fact that you're calling for a fight like a real man should do. Any man who wants to fight another man should call him out, as you've been doing to me. So I accept your challenge, Manuel Charr. Let's get it on, motherfucker!
Assalamu alaikum, Tyson. My name is Mahmoud first. But you are a real man. One word, one man. Alhamdulillah. UK, make sure the Diamond Boy is coming. King Charr.
Didn't I tell you guys that after a while, both Tyson Fury and Manuel Charr would resort to trashing Anthony Joshua between them and using him as...
They use his name to try to sell their fight.
Manuel Charr, a cross between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Arnold Van Damme. Ow! Though by now, Tyson Fury's got to know he's not going to get away with selling people Manuel Charr. I mean, by now he has to know. From Monday of earlier this week till now, he has to know that at least some people out there, a good number of them, they're onto him.
He's received a lot of public backlash since Monday.
Because regardless of what does or doesn't happen with Anthony Joshua, you can't sell a fight like this at the box office. It's inexcusable. Surely, between two Hall of Fame promoters transatlantically, they could find you someone better to fight. Someone more worthy of a title shot than a cross between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Eddie Hearn spoke to Michelle Joy Phelps. It made it crystal clear that that contract's not getting signed today.
Tyson Fury is relying on the ignorance and sheer stupidity of the layman.
Because that's what this is all about. This is more of a public shaming.
It feels like one. It feels like an attempt at one. An attempt at a public shaming.
Feels like that more than a campaign to get this guy in the ring, to negotiate a fight, a big fight, a very big fight.
It was Big Daddy Bunce that said that he's bored with this whole situation a little over a week ago. Bored with the whole situation playing out publicly. But who made the decision to make all of this public? Tyson Fury.
He's the one making a spectacle of all of this. Not Frank Warren, not Eddie Hearn, not Anthony Joshua. It's just Fury. Now, why does Fury find it necessary to go to the public with this?
If you ask him, he can't be asked about an Anthony Joshua fight, yet he's spending a lot of time on this.
And so is Eddie Hearn, who confirmed. He insisted that the contract is still going back and forth between camps.
And won't be signed today, but said they are getting there. And it's not a million miles away. Well, today, Tyson Fury has imposed yet another deadline.
You have to wonder how much of Matchroom's time, how much of their effort, manpower, is being wasted on this, and whether or not they have a plan B.
Should all of this fall apart the way many are expecting it to, what effort, if any, is going into Anthony Joshua's next fight, irrespective of what they already have going on with Tyson Fury? Is it Tyson Fury's ulterior motive to delay Anthony Joshua?
Is he deliberately trying to waste their time so that Anthony doesn't fight in December?
Keep them busy. Keep them distracted so that no effort goes into Anthony Joshua's next fight, which is supposed to go down in December, the same month that Tyson Fury is supposed to return. Is all of this an effort?
Is this an effort to delay Anthony Joshua's next fight in December so that you don't have to go head-to-head against him at the box office?
There are a lot of ways you can interpret this. You can interpret this as Tyson Fury being an opportunist and trying to get Anthony Joshua in the ring at a time when it's very inopportune for Anthony to take on a fight like this. Could be that. It could very well be that he's just using Anthony Joshua's name to sell a fight that nobody wants. It could be that as well.
It's yet another scenario we've talked about here on the channel.
And it could be what we saw back in 2020 when Anthony and Tyson were in the midst of negotiations, and a lot of Matchroom's time went into trying to get that fight over the line just for Tyson Fury to bail at the last minute because the arbitrator ruled in Wilder's favor. What if this is just Tyson Fury wasting their time?
Deliberately wasting their time so he can delay Anthony Joshua's ring return. He doesn't want to have to compete against him the same month.
Because you tell me, can you actually take anything Tyson Fury says or does at face value?
This is the kind of guy you can take at his word?
He's up to something. He's always up to something.